Hello everyone. I hope you've had a wonderful week. Time with your family, maybe your friends, at school and at home, inside and outside. I've had a really good week too. And I'm glad to be here with you, ready for another virtual story. Are you ready? Okay. This week's story is about Ruth, and you can find it in this box. After the people of God crossed the Jordan River into the promised land, they began to fill the land, and some began to live in Bethlehem. This family lived in Bethlehem. It was Naomi and her husband and their 2 sons. Many years went by, but there came a year where the rains did not come, and so the wheat could not grow, and there was no food. So some of the people decided to cross the Jordan River into the land of Moab, where there was food. Naomi and her family were among those who went into Moab. They were very happy there until Naomi's husband died. That was very sad. When the sons grew up, they married young women from Moab. There was Ruth and Orpah, and they all lived together for years until the husbands died. And then it was the 3 women who were all widows together. Naomi didn't know what to do. She decided to go back to Bethlehem to her family. Orpah decided to stay in Moab with her family. But Ruth said, "Where you go, I will go. Where you live, I will live. Your people will be my people, and your God is my God." So the 2 women went through the desert, crossed the Jordan River, and returned to Bethlehem, where they found a small place to live together. And they would go into the fields after the harvest and pick up the grain from the ground. The people let them do this because they were widows. One of the fields they went in was owned by a rich man named Boaz. And Boaz noticed Ruth and liked the way she worked so hard, and liked the way she always took care of Naomi. So after a time, they were married and had children. Now, Ruth was a mother and Naomi was a grandmother, and she could hold her grandson on her lap. When he grew up, he had children. He had a son named Jesse. And when Jesse grew up and had children, He had many children, many sons, and one of his sons grew up to be the great King David that we've told stories about. So King David was the great-great-grandson of Ruth. I hope you liked the story today. I wonder, what was your favorite part of this story? I wonder what part of this story you think was the most important. I wonder if you see yourself in any part of this story. And I wonder if there's any part of this story we could leave out and still have all the story we need. I hope you take time to talk with your parents, your brothers and sisters, about this story and about how and what this story might mean to you. Have a good week. I'll see you again.
Hi. So today's story is going to be the Berenstain Bears and the Golden Rule. Do to others what you would have them do to you. And it's written by Stan and Jan Berenstain. When Sister Bear received a beautiful golden locket for her birthday, she was surprised and pleased. It was shaped like a heart, and it had her name on it. "Happy birthday, dear," said Mama and Papa Bear, giving her a big hug. Sister tried the locket on. She looked at herself in the mirror. "I love it," she said. "I'm going to wear it all the time." "It opens up," said Papa. "Look." And he showed her the little golden clasp you pressed to pop the locket open. "Neat," said Sister. And she looked inside, expecting to find a little picture or mirror or something. But all she could see inside the locket were a few simple words. Do to others what you would have them do to you. Sister was puzzled. The words seemed familiar. "What's this?" she asked. "It's the Golden Rule," explained Mama. "What's that?" Sister wondered. Mama's eyes widened. "The Golden Rule is one of the most important rules there is," she explained. "That's why we always have it hanging on the wall of our living room." And she pointed to the framed sampler above their mantelpiece. Sister gazed up at it in amazement. She had seen that sampler every day of her life. No wonder the words seemed familiar. "Oh," she said, a little embarrassed. "I never really thought about what it said before. What does it mean?" "The Golden Rule," Papa explained, "tells you to treat other people the way you yourself want to be treated." "Why is it inside my locket?" she wondered. "It's a golden rule inside a golden locket for a little golden princess," said Papa, giving her a big kiss. "It's called the Golden Rule," Mama said patiently, "because it's precious, just like gold. But it's not about the gold you wear around your neck or on your finger." She held out her wedding ring. "It's about the golden treasure we keep inside our own hearts. The heart shape of the locket is meant to remind you of that." And Sister thought that over. She didn't really get it, but that was okay. She loved her new locket anyway. The next day before school, Sister showed off her new treasure to her friends Lizzie, Millie, Anna, and Linda. They oohed and awed over it in a very satisfying way. "What's all the fuss about?" said a voice. It was Queenie McBear and her gang. Now, Queenie was older than Sister and a little snooty. And when Queenie first came to the neighborhood, she and Sister did not get along at all. Queenie made fun of her and got Sister's friends to join in. And that was Sister's first experience with an in crowd, a group that makes itself feel big by making other people feel small. "Oh, hi, Queenie," said Sister. "I was just showing the kids my new locket." Over the years, Sister had learned to get along with Queenie, but they were never the best of friends. "Let's see," said Queenie. She looked the locket over. She was not impressed. She herself wore big hoop earrings and lots of beads and chains. "Cute," was all she said as she walked away with her friends. Now, Queenie still had her own in crowd, and they were a group of older girls who liked hanging together and acting cool. Mostly they spent their time painting their nails and giggling about boys. That was okay with Sister. She had her own group of friends to hang out with, but it never occurred to her that this might be any kind of problem until the new girl came to school. Her name was Susie McGrizzy. It seemed a funny sort of name. For one thing, it had a lot of Z's in it. The new girl herself seemed a little funny too. Her clothes weren't exactly cool. She wore her hair up in pigtails, which was definitely not the standard Bear Country School style. And besides, she had thick glasses and braces. Not the cool kinds with lots of different colors like Millie wore. Just plain old braces. On her first day, of course, the new girl didn't know anyone at all. At recess, Sister noticed her standing off by herself in a corner of the playground. She looked sort of sad and lonely. Sister was thinking about going over and introducing herself when Lizzie and Anna came up. "Hiya, Sister," said Lizzie. "We're getting together for a game of hopscotch. Millie and Linda are over there. Come on." And Sister began to follow them, but she paused and glanced back to where the new girl was standing all by herself. The new girl looked lonelier than ever. "Wait a minute," said Sister. "What about that new girl? That's, what's her name? The one over there. Maybe we should invite her to join in. She looks pretty lost and lonely." The other girls were surprised. "Susie Woozy Face?" said Lizzie doubtfully. "She has weird clothes," said Anna, "and those corny pigtails," said Lizzie. "Not to mention those clunky glasses and braces," added Anna. "Well," said Sister, discouraged, "I just thought—" "Oh, don't worry about old Susie McWoozy," said Lizzie, taking Sister's arm. "She'll be fine. She'll find some other cubs to play with. Cubs more her type." So Sister allowed herself to be led away to the hopscotch game, and she felt a little worried about Susie McWoozy, although she couldn't exactly say why. But she soon forgot all about it while playing hopscotch with her friends. Later, when school let out, Sister got in line for her school bus, and she noticed that the new girl was standing right in front of her. She was going to say hi, but then Lizzie came up behind her and they started to talk, and they went on talking as they got on the bus. And Susie McGrizzy sat right behind them. Sister and Lizzie went right on talking together. Sister played with her new locket as she talked, twirling it around in the air. But when the bus came to her stop, Sister gathered up her things to get off, but she felt a soft tug on her arms. And it was Susie McGrizzy. She was holding out something to Sister. "Here," she said shyly. "You dropped this." It was Sister's new locket. "Gee," said Sister, "thanks," was all she could think of to say. And Sister climbed off the bus and watched it pull away, and she could see Susie looking back from her window, and Sister hung her locket back around her neck. What if Susie hadn't noticed her drop it? It might have been gone for good. Now, Mama was waiting for Sister when she climbed up the front steps. "How was school today, dear?" asked Mama. "Oh, okay, I guess," sighed Sister, dumping her school bag on the armchair of the living room, and she glanced up at the framed sampler of the golden rule over the mantel. Somehow, the golden locket hanging around her neck felt heavier than before. That evening at dinner, Sister was unusually thoughtful. She picked at her lima beans and stared off into space. "Penny for your thoughts," Papa said as he fed Honey Bear. "Huh?" said Sister, looking up. "Oh, I was just thinking about that golden rule inside my locket," she explained. "I don't really get it. What's it supposed to mean?" "Well," began Mama, "let me give you an example. Do you remember that trouble you had when Queenie first moved to town?" Sister perked up and paid attention. She remembered it all too well. "Do you remember how Queenie started an in crowd but kept you out and made fun of your clothes and hair bow?" Mama asked. "Do you remember how badly you felt?" Boy, did she ever. Sister started to feel hurt just thinking about it. Her lower lip began to quaver and a tear came to her eye. "Well, all the golden rule is saying," Papa continued, "is that you shouldn't turn around and do the same sort of thing to someone else." He paused to scrape some mashed potatoes off Honey's chin. "You should always treat other people the way you would like to be treated yourself." "But I would never do anything like that," said Sister. "Besides, I don't have an in crowd." "Oh no," said Brother, who'd been taking all this in. "What about Lizzie and Anna and Millie and Linda? You play with them all the time, but I never see you asking anyone else to join." "That's different," protested Sister angrily. "I'm just playing with my friends. We're not trying to keep anybody out." "Of course not, dear," soothed Mama. "I'm sure you and your friends would never dream of keeping other cubs out of your group." Sister Bear grew very quiet. Now that she thought it over, she wasn't so sure. Not so sure at all. The next day at recess, as soon as Sister came outside, she looked around the playground for Susie McGrizzy, and soon she spotted her sitting off by herself under the big oak tree at the edge of the schoolyard reading a book. Sister marched right up to her. "Hello, Susie," she said brightly. Susie looked up in surprise. "Hello," she said shyly. "I'm Sister Bear, and my friends and I are going to play some hopscotch," Sister told her. "Would you like to join us?" Susie's face lit up. "Oh, I'd love to," she said with a big bracy grin. "I love hopscotch." "Terrific," said Sister. "Do you want to see my locket?" "Sure," said Susie. "Okay," said Sister. "Come on, I'll show it to you. Over there." And Sister took off and Susie chased her, laughing, across the playground to the hopscotch square where Lizzie, Millie, Anna, and Linda were waiting. And Sister's golden locket gleamed in the sun as she ran. Well, I hope you liked that story. And now let's close with a prayer. If you love, you will be loved. If you serve, you will be served. If you fear, you will be feared. If you do good to others, it is right that others should do good to you. Blessed is the one who truly loves and does not ask to be loved in return. Blessed is the one who serves and does not ask to be served. Blessed is the one who fears and does not ask to be feared. Blessed is the one who does good to others and does not ask that others do good in return. I hope you have a good week.